key elements of designing the programme really were having Sport for Confidence, our occupational therapy lead, on board. And we had an amazing team of occupational therapists who sat down and worked on the design of the programme, then delivered the programme, and have been involved in basically measuring the outcomes, alongside all of the great research outcomes we've had from the Advanced Wellbeing Research Centre, who very much looked at the sort of physical performance of everyone in the programme, and then the Sport Industry Research Centre, who very much looked at the qualitative improvements and benefits that the programme has brought to not just the people living with a diagnosis, but also their unpaid carers.
We had to design for the delivery team, so how are we going to deliver from the point of physiotherapists and an occupational therapist working on board at the delivery centre with the coaches.
This was a really great way to be involved in the initiation of the project and the design of the intervention. We were able to mirror that design mapping and use that as a way of designing the service that we were going to deliver on the day. So we had a sort of generic idea of who would be coming through the door, what the people's needs would be, what the sort of pinch points and the opportunities were for people to get involved in the project.
And the other thing about having the occupational therapists on board is that one of the great legacies of this research programme is that the resource they're going to leave us behind is something we can use to adopt and scale rapidly.
The way that golf is used here is transferable. It could be used with different sports. We're talking about golf, but we will talk about how it's applicable to other sports as well. We're talking about how it's going to be adapted, how the environment is adapted, how the activities are adapted. We're talking about key concepts in occupational therapy, so that's activity analysis. We're looking at how that engaging something like golf might help with someone's cardio, how it might help with their brain function, how it might help with their social skills, and then we're using that to explore how that could be transferred into other settings as well.
There were a very diverse sample of participants with very varied levels of physical abilities. What we did find when we calculated the average values across those different time points was that there were marginal improvements overall. So as a whole group, according to those mean values, there were marginal improvements in mobility, balance and strength. In terms of the caregiver experience, that was very rich, the data that was generated through those interviews, and caregivers described how they enjoyed seeing their loved one happy, engaged in an activity that was meaningful, that there was humour injected throughout the intervention, and it was very individualised but also a group activity all at the same time. So they really valued the experience of seeing their partner or family member engaged in a meaningful activity and experiencing happiness.